Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Nigeria, stand up, let's give him the Ugandan welcome. Put your hands together for my brother, Basket Man! Hey, thank you. How you guys doing? First of all, a round of applause for all the comedians. They did very well. Especially the last guy, the guy killed it. And that's the kind of killing that, after what he did, you see, like, I wonder how the other comedians that didn't do well will be feeling right now. Because trust me, we've all been in that position before, that you come to perform. The truth of the matter is, the jokes, sometimes, comedy is hard. The jokes can be funny to you. At home. When you run through the jokes in your head. But you now come on stage, and friends are the worst people on earth. You tell them the joke to see if it's going to work, and they laugh. And they know it's not funny, but they let you go. Because they want you to be on their level, because they've not done anything with their life. So do not try your materials with your friends. Try it with your enemies. That's how you know if the joke is good or not. Now, I don't want to crack jokes, because I'm just supposed to say hi, but I will say some things that I've noticed since I came in. When we were coming into the hotel, when Salvador took me into the hotel, Sheraton, I'm just saying that for the girls. Room 805. And when we were coming in, they made us park the car, and you come down from your car and go through a metal detector, then go back and enter your car. And I asked Salvador why. He said security purposes, security reasons, which is good, but it can happen here. You do not park your car. And Salvador left his engine running and came down. Salvador, don't ever try that thing in Nigeria. You park car, leave engine running. It's the car that will run, but somebody else driving it. You don't do that. In Nigeria, they want to park the car. When they say, I should go through metal detector. Okay, no problem. Off the car, come down, lock it. And when they are walking, they'll still be looking at the car. You've locked it. What are you looking at it for? I'll go through the metal detector, and come, and they'll be looking to see if anybody is inside. You are just 5 feet away. Nigerians, we are very suspicious. Trust me, we are very. Right now, if someone drops a bottle, I'll be in the hotel. The only thing you can see is the mic dropping. We are very suspicious, and we are very hopeful. That's when you hear that in Nigeria, I know you guys read our news. When you hear that a Nigerian man commits suicide, it's a lie. No Nigerian man commits suicide. If you hear that a Nigerian man commits suicide, know that he's owing people money. And he had to fake his death. That's why you hear that, the guy died last week and someone saw him in another state. No. It's his spirit. It's not his spirit. He lives there now. Nigerians don't commit suicide. It's white people. Depression is something for white people. Black people, we don't go through. Have you met anybody with depression? No. Nobody, no black man in Africa has depression. Nobody. So I know you guys heard about T-Bills and Tiwa Savage, that T-Bills wanted to kill himself. You guys heard the story, right? It was all over the news. That's stupid. That's crazy. However, we need to understand the facts. T-Bills is an American, but Nigerian American. So he has dual citizenship. So he was depressed because he was American. His American side was depressed. He was going through marriage problems. That's the America in him. Going through the marital troubles. He now decided to kill himself. That's the American side speaking to him. However, there's a Nigerian in him existing which told him to call his friend and tell him that he wants to kill himself, and told him the location, the time, and made him wait until they come to stop him. In London, the cops are not as nasty and crazy like the American cops are. The American cops are crazy. London cops, they are nice. Have you ever heard of killing in London or shooting? It's impossible. The only thing that you hear in London is stabbing. And it's only stabbing. And that means that the person can't run. Because if you bring a knife, even if you want to cut orange, I am running. In London, true story, we went out drinking. It was fun. Me and my friends, 5 of us in one car, 3 at the back, 2 in front. Went to the club, partied our life out. True story, we got drunk. So we gave the car keys to the person that was not as drunk as we were. So he was driving. But because we were so drunk, we did not know that he was driving rubbish. So the cops stopped us. You know, the London cars, they're like yours, you know, right-hand drive. So I was sitting here, driver was here, 3 people at the back. Cops stopped us. At that point, you know when they stop you, the alcohol will clear. So at that point, we were all sober. For some funny reason, we were all sober. As the cop pulled us, the light was still, you know, rotating. He had not left the car. We looked at ourselves. We knew we were in trouble. Do you understand? So what did we do? Nigerians. You see the middle of the driver and the passenger. I went from the middle, went to the back to sit with the people at the back. The driver too came back to sit with us. 5 people now at the back, no driver, no passenger. Now, if there's no driver or passenger, you cannot arrest us being passengers. The cop now came. Excuse me, sorry, where's the driver? He said, he go piss. He went to urinate, the toilet. The guy was like, no, I didn't see anybody step out of the car, so you tell me what happened. We said the driver and the front passengers went to the bush to go and pee. So the police guy, patient police guy, the guy waited. For like 5 minutes, nobody came out. So excuse me, are you sure? He said, yes, they are there. That's how they pee for long. African thing, it's the size. It takes a while to come out. Okay, let's wait for a while. After like 10 minutes, the cop knew that we were all, you know, the driver was in the car. He said, okay, you know what's going to happen, yeah? I want you, the driver, just feel free. Come drive your car. I'm not going to make any arrests tonight. You can drive, but just drive safe. Nigerians, always suspicious. Are you sure? So, excuse me, I'm a man of my word. You can drive the car. Oh. Can you sign on a piece of paper to prove that? We are too suspicious. I don't know how gay is in Uganda. Is it very as ours? You guys don't tolerate it here? You guys hate it? Okay, don't say you hate it. These guys are humans, right? I know, but calm down. Now, this thing, calm down. You see this person right now, you can't do this in America. Americans, the day they announced that thing, I was in New York. Hey, come and see them holding hands. Hey, they were happy. Okay, guys. And I was so, no, because I'm a little bit, I'm from Nigeria, I'm African. You know, we don't. In Nigeria, it's 16 years in prison. 14 years, sorry. If you're a gay guy, if you catch you being homosexual. 14 years, which is a stupid law. If you ask me, you don't send a gay guy to prison as punishment. What did they do in prison? That's like if you just say, you're sentenced to 14 years. Oh my God, are you serious? Where's my roommate? Where's my roommate? Oh my God. You don't do that. However, I went for a party. Party was filled up with men. I did not know. No woman in sight. And they were all dancing with themselves. I finished performing. They were paying me in Naira. They were paying me 2 million Naira. So they gave me 1.5, remaining 500,000. So I had to wait. So it was in Abuja, we were dancing. And the guy that paid me came, hey, you're basking me, you did a great job today. We love you. Come on, let's party. I said, no, I just need my balance so I can go back to my hotel. And they were like, no, let's party, don't worry, it's late. It was like past midnight. No, I can't give you that kind of money, it's cash. You can't be driving in Abuja this time of the night, you're going to get robbed. And I thought about it. Okay, I'm going to get, you can sleep in my room, okay? You can sleep in my room. For some reason, it didn't click. I didn't, put it into my thoughts and process it. So I was like, okay, I've never stayed in that hotel before. The hotel was beautiful, 5-star hotel. I was like, okay, I can stay. So I started dancing with the guy. You know, you won't know anything. You're just dancing. They were dancing, touching themselves. I was like, okay, maybe they are drunk. You know, then the guy took me to his room, brought out my money. My money was there. And he got undressed. Then me too, I can't sleep in what I was wearing. So I took off my shirt, my pants. I was wearing just boxer shorts and a vest. So I lay in bed. So I was laying on the right side of the bed. So the guy was on the left side. So we started talking. We talked about my career. We talked about his job. So I was tired. This was like 2-3 a.m. I was like, you know what? I need to sleep now. His name was Matthew. Like, Matthew, I need to sleep right now. And like, okay, it's fine, you know, it's fine. You can sleep. Good night. Yeah, great job. I said, thank you. So I started sleeping, you know, I just started drifting away. Then, at some point, I noticed someone's hand on me, like, it was just moving. And trust me, every man here, if you find yourself in that position, trust me, and I can tell you for a fact, the woman in you will come out. Every man has a woman in him. There's no man that will tell me that there's no woman, small stain of womanhood in you. So the guy started touching me, and I started asking women questions. And I was like, Matthew, what are you doing? And you know, men, when they're in that position, their voice gets thicker, you know? So he was like, come on, what's wrong with you? Come on. Come close. So he helped me and moved in and dragged me back. And this guy, mind you, this guy is big. So it was like 6'4", I'm 6'2". It was like biceps, everything. So he dragged me. So he dragged me in like this, and his stuff was on my ass, you know. So I tried to move back, like pull myself away, but he held me, and I was like, Matthew, I think you're moving too fast. I said, come on, what's wrong with you? Come on. I came in and I felt the thing like in between a crack of my ass. And at that point, I knew if this guy was going to physically molest me, he will. So he just came out. I was like, Matthew, I'm on my period. I did not know why I said that, but it was the only thing I could defend myself with, you know. And he was like, at that point, he left me, and that was when the last woman in me came out. I was now in my vest, boxer shorts, and I started picking my clothes from the floor. You know when a woman follows you to a hotel, the way when they are upset, and like, Matthew, you know, I came to this room, I did not expect you to just do this thing, and you just... Where's my money? Where's my money? I want to go. The same line. No, trust me, if you find yourself in that position, the woman in you will come out. Nobody, all you guys are forming. And trust me, all those, you are saying you hate those guys. Those guys are strong. Don't fuck around with those guys. Those guys, they'll do all those things. No, stop. No, that's the way they talk. Stop it. No, don't do that. Come on. I saw one gay guy and a normal straight guy fight. I swear down. The gay guy beat the hell out of the straight guy. And the transition from being gay to being man to being gay. Like gay guys, they become men and go back to being gay in a split second. I'm telling you, the guy was like, stop it, don't talk to me like that, okay? Don't talk to me. Look, Bobo, you better stop what you're doing. Because I don't like what are you? Stop it. Thank you very much, God bless you, man.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Yeah. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Bring it back, come on. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2.